Congressman Tom Cotton just ended this woman's whole career. You guys have got to check this out.
Wondered why CNN and other networks alike work so hard to curate their lineup, especially when it comes to conservative pundits and commentators and contributors? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. They do it to shut down real conversation. They just want to create the image of neutral review of all the facts, but the reality is something completely different. There's a reason why they always bring on the same kind of people, the same never-Trumpers, the same establishment shills. They do that because their dishonest, duplicitous narratives are so finicky, so fickle, so weakly constructed that if they bring on a real conservative, somebody who's actually worth their weight in salt, well, the whole thing frickin' falls apart. And that's exactly what we saw this morning. The mainstream media has been working overtime to slam Donald Trump. Oh, he's a liar. Republicans are lying about FEMA and Kamala Harris's disastrous response to the hurricane. It's all just a lie. They've been working so hard to fact check and debunk all the claims. I mean, we're talking about thousands of people working around the clock diligently to create their alternative reality, and then it takes one morning segment with Tom Cotton and the whole charade falls apart. This right here, folks, this clip I'm about to show you guys is the reason they stick to their Adam Kinzingers and Liz Cheneys. The alternative is total exposure, total embarrassment. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so this clip doesn't really need too much context. I mean, the context is already baked in. We've been talking about this for the last week or so, and I'm sure you guys are already tuned into what's going on. Just take a look.
My broader question to you, I think, is about this misinformation. Do you think this is a time to put falsehoods aside, like the idea that FEMA funds are being redirected to migrants, which is just not true?
Well, it is true that FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security have been spending billions of dollars on migrants. Now, I understand some people say they're separate funds, but we just passed a short-term spending bill. It's very common for the administration to come and ask for permission to move money between funds, especially to prepare for emergencies. And second, I would note that this administration seems to have no problem finding money when they want to spend it on their priorities. When they need hundreds of billions of dollars to pay off student loans for graduate students in gender studies programs, they somehow find it. When it's trying to get helicopters to deliver food and water and cellular service and life-saving medicine into these mountain valleys, they somehow can't seem to find the money.
He's exactly right. This administration has spent more money than any administration in America's history, yet when it comes to providing resources for people whose whole lives and livelihoods were stripped away by a natural disaster, something that they can't even control, the government is turning their backs on their people? Are you kidding me? That's why we have it in the first place. And if the people that we elect in Congress don't represent its constituents and actually provide for them when they need it most, they can lie and say, oh, the migrants didn't take the budget, all they want. But one thing is certain. If Donald Trump were in the White House right now, this would have never happened. And I think everybody can say that with 100% conviction. He was always there to provide for the people. And even now, he's not in office, and he's still providing for them. He's teaming up with Elon Musk, getting the Starlink going for him. He's got a GoFundMe set up for them. It just seems like these people are sending a message that they don't even care about the American citizens that they represent.
FEMA didn't misdirect funds. The funds are separate. Well, what does that tell you? That means that FEMA, whose job it is to respond in moments of crisis for Americans, has essentially diverted funds in a way of creating two accounts, one for Americans and one for illegal migrants. And now they're stuck in this position where they don't have the funds, they don't have the ability to properly respond after a disastrous hurricane. It's literally the same thing. Ooh, fact check. There's two different bank accounts. What kind of idiotic fact check is that? And at the end of the day, it ignores the actual core issue here. The issue is that the American people, frankly, feel like frickin' chopped liver. I mean, what do American taxpayers have to do to become the top priority of their own government? Do towns and counties in North Carolina and other places have to rename themselves to Little Israel or Little Ukraine to get some frickin' priority? Do people need to renounce their American citizenship, cross into Mexico, and then walk back into the nation as an illegal in order to get priority? It's unbelievable. Tom Cotton hit the nail on the frickin' head. The people see what's going on. They see how something happens abroad and immediately the government mobilizes. How many billions do you need, Zelensky? You know what, actually I'll do you even better, Mr. Volodymyr. I'll just give you a blank check and why don't you fill out the zeros? You know, that's kind of the way that it feels, right? Then you have illegals whose first act in the nation is a crime and they're given billions upon billions of dollars. And let's just call it what it is, free crap. And that money comes from FEMA. That's the core issue. Oh, fact check, let's debunk. No, it doesn't. Yes, it freaking does.
It's just categorically false. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's Emergency Food and Shelter Program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
I don't think that this administration cares for the migrants more so. They just don't want to hear from the actual American people. So they're trying to disenfranchise them so their voice is not heard. The people in government right now are not hiding their disdain for the American people. And I'm not saying that just because of this hurricane situation. I mean, why did they not pass the SAVE Act? Why are people in Congress opposed to voter ID? And why are they refusing to prosecute people if illegal immigrants vote in the election? I feel like I'm watching a coup in real time and no one is doing anything about it. Thank God we have people like Elon Musk who are creating PACs to preserve election integrity.
Focus is just condemning regular people. Ooh, misinformation and conspiracy theorists. Here we go again.
We're talking about the President of the United States practically getting killed.
And
okay?
we all condemn that.
You're hitting 20 different topics.
The Democrats condemn that. But the lies, the floodgate of lies must stop.
What lies? Like that President Trump's going to monitor women's pregnancies? Oh, that's Project 2025. Has nothing to do with President Trump. But you know what? It's a good talking point for the Democrats, so they keep saying it. They lie all the time.
Oh, wow.
Again, the left acts as if they have a monopoly on the truth. They're more focused on politicizing everything and pointing the finger at the other side saying, you're a bunch of liars. But who the hell are they to point the finger at anybody on the issue of honesty? Holy frickin' moly. People are pissed. And you know what's the most frustrating part? Is that if all of this was happening under the Trump administration, you know exactly what they would be doing. If a Republican was in the White House and the Republican president was just chilling at the beach, meanwhile the vice president, who's currently running for president as a replacement incumbent, is schmoozing and boozing and fundraising with celebrities, could you imagine what the mainstream media would be saying?
Case in point, Joe Biden has been on vacation about 20% of the days he's been in the White House, while Donald Trump would go golfing like once or twice a week when he was in the White House. But you have to remember, Trump sleeps 4 hours a day. Trump is always moving. He's always doing something, going from country to country, interview to interview. Yet they never mention that. They always just say, oh, Trump's going to go in the White House and just go golfing. Donald Trump actually goes to work and he actually puts in hard days. And if he wants to spend an hour or two at the golf course, who are we to judge him? He's still working harder than anyone else in Congress. The media has become such a joke. And they also ran with that Trump story, locking kids up in cages. Obama was the one that put the kids in the cages first off. They got fact check on that, but they never seem to remember that. They'll say anything they want to garner a few more votes. Project 2025? How many times does Donald Trump have to come out and denounce that he has nothing to do with that? But they don't care. They're still going to run with it. They're still going to say he's a white supremacist, he's a racist, he's xenophobe. They're going to say whatever it takes so that the average person who doesn't pay attention to politics just absorbs this material and thinks, oh, Trump's a bad guy, Trump's a racist. Like, I don't mean to speak for anyone else, but when I first heard of Donald Trump coming on the scene, that was my impression of him. Because that's what the media was telling me day in and day out. I had no reason to question them. It was only when I actually listened to him speak and watched his actions, and they spoke for themselves, and you realize you're being deceived. So it just goes to show that the Democrats and the mainstream media are the biggest enemy right now to the American people. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. And let me know, do you think if Trump was in office, they would be politicizing this storm? Because I sure think that they would. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear that. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.